Dear friends, the well-known English-speaking Catholic periodical Life Site News published my article on January 16, 2025, titled, Italian Bishop Defends Nation Against Islam. Equating religions is an insult to intelligence. Enjoy your listening. You can find the link to the article in the description, of course. Last week, Bishop Antonio Suetta of Sanremo Ventimiglia told an Italian newspaper that Catholicism and Islam are two very different religions. The interview given by Bishop Suetta to Il Tempo on January 6, 2025, is a rare example of episcopal clarity and courage. In a time when the fear of contradicting the dominant thought seems to have silenced much of the Catholic episcopate, Bishop Suetta's words resonate as a gesture of hope for many faithful, especially in Italy. It is not an exaggeration to say that his intervention stands out in an ecclesiastical context, the Italian one, now negatively influenced by the proximity to Rome, which has long been occupied by neo-modernists who have turned their positions of responsibility into centers for the dissemination of doctrinal ambiguities and pastoral drifts, if not outright heresies. The hope is that Bishop Suetta does not suffer a fate similar to that of Bishop Ray of Fréjus-Toulon in France, who was recently removed from his position for openly defending the liturgical tradition. Among the most incisive points of the interview is the statement that Christianity and Islam are not equal religions. This is an evident fact for anyone with a minimum of theological and historical knowledge. Indeed, it should always be kept in mind that Islam should be considered a heresy of Christianity, and therefore a degeneration of it. However, the differences between the two religions go far beyond doctrine. They are reflected in their political and social consequences. Just look at the case of Molenbeek in Brussels, a now predominantly Islamic municipality where Sharia is effectively applied, making this area a legal anomaly compared to the rest of Belgium. The irony is that this happens in the very seat of the European Union, an institution that has promoted relativism and extreme multiculturalism. Bishop Suetta, without mincing words, the day after the chaotic New Year's celebrations in Milan, during which many Islamic immigrants insulted Italy and chanted Allahu Akbar, gave a warning to those who continue to claim that all religions are equal. Equating religions is an insult to intelligence, he stated. This is a phrase that will make many frown, but it expresses an undeniable truth. Let no one, especially in the Vatican, feel offended. Bishop Suetta had the courage to denounce an ecumenism that descends into syncretism. To be honest, Pope Francis has been one of the main promoters of this trend, explicitly supporting, see the Abu Dhabi Declaration of February 4, 2019, that all religions lead to God equally. This approach, which appears to be more a form of interfaith diplomacy than genuine Christian charity, has created deep discomfort and embarrassment among millions of faithful worldwide. Muslims, for their part, have no hesitation in proclaiming the superiority of their faith and asserting that their ultimate goal is the Islamization of the world. This contrast is as evident as it is disheartening. While Islam makes no concessions, the Catholic world, with rare exceptions like Bishop Suetta, seems committed to dismantling its own identity. Another fundamental aspect of the interview concerns the emphasis placed by Bishop Suetta on the duties of migrants. In an era where rights seem to dominate every discourse, it is comforting to hear a bishop recall what is taught by the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Political authorities, for the sake of the common good for which they are responsible, may make the exercise of the right to immigrate subject to various juridical conditions, especially with regard to the immigrant's duties toward their country of adoption. Immigrants are obliged to respect with gratitude the material and spiritual heritage of the country that receives them, to obey its laws, and to assist in carrying civic burdens. Immigration cannot be a one-way process where migrants simply claim rights without any commitment to integration. This approach perfectly aligns with what the Church has taught regarding immigration since the time of St. Thomas Aquinas. Aquinas, in his Summa Theologiae, into the second part of first part, question 105, Article 3, presents one of the most profound and realistic analyses ever elaborated on this topic. The great doctor of the church distinguishes between different types of immigrants, emphasizing that hospitality must be ordered to the common good. Not all immigrants are equal, and nations have the right to regulate immigration based on its compatibility with the country's values and needs. St. Thomas cites Aristotle, reminding us that integration is a long process that can take 2 or 3 generations. The indiscriminate admission of foreigners could endanger the common good, especially if they do not develop a strong attachment to the host nation. Bishop Suetta touched a raw nerve when he spoke about Muslim immigration. European history is marked by centuries of conflicts with Islam, which has constantly sought to expand on the continent. Events such as the battles of Poitiers, 732, Lepanto, 1571, Vienna, 1683, and others are testimonies to the price paid to defend Christianity. Ignoring this historical reality is equivalent to denying the evidence. The idea that Muslim immigration is simply a humanitarian issue is naive and dangerous. As Bishop Suetta reminded us, Europe, and the entire Western world, which has lost its Christian origins, must be vigilant. We must prevent cities from becoming outposts of Sharia. Bishop Antonio Suetta's interview is a call to properly understand the natural right to immigration in a time of great confusion on this and other issues. His frankness represents a breath of fresh air for many Catholics, particularly Italians, who often feel abandoned by a clergy too careful not to contradict political correctness. The bishop's courage is a shining example of what it means to be a true shepherd, not fearing to proclaim the truth, even at the cost of facing persecution from both outside and within the church.